Chapter 59. Ultima-sama. Esdeath, who was standing beside Ultima, spoke. Her boss was currently thinking as she bit her finger. What? Ultima's tone was sharp. She was already irritated by the situation. Currently in her headquarters in Universe Aaron, the very center of her entire domain. In a purple castle that she had built, she was listening to the reports of help from different universes. She has already sent her army of demons and some of the Jaegers of Esdeath. Those aren't the only beings with Ultima. As they have almost the same size of domain as Central, Rimuru made sure to distribute his subordinates evenly to everyone. With the population of Enkis and Sirens in the 500,000 mark, each of the primordials gets 100,000 of both kinds. Those below them, being Cheruf and Aqua Sprites, are recorded to have already exceeded a few million in number. They each have more than 1 million of both as well. Those four kinds make up the majority of the primordial demon subordinates. Of course, Ultima didn't just have spirits as subordinates. Similar to Esdeath, the Jaegers that she made were all turned into demons. Although, unlike Esdeath, they were only up to greater demons, with the strongest being demon chevaliers. More reports are coming in. Esdeath simply stated as she saw more people running towards them in the large throne room. Ultima sighed. Have core thallium, arsenic, and cyanide gather everyone and group themselves into battalion-size groups. 2 battalions will be set to the worlds that are in distress. Ultima stood up as she looked at the 3 commanders of each of her corps. 2 of them were archdemons that has been with her since before leaving the material world. She recruited them again after their deaths, for picking a fight with the child-looking demon that always follows Testarossa. The other one was Esdeath. She has been given the privilege of becoming the general of her corps just like in her past. However, she also has a specific group consisting of volunteers of bloodthirsty murderers from Silver Faith believers who were from her home planet. Most of the warmongers were also distributed to all sections of the multiverse. Report immediately if someone strong appears. Ultima ordered the 3 as she stood up. Understood. All 3 bowed before leaving. This sucks. How dare someone attacks those under my territory and protection. Ultima, alone on her purple throne, was very angry. Let's just hope this is also happening to the others. Ultima wished with all her heart that the other primordials were also experiencing this predicament. Can't have them mock me about it. And be thrown away by Rimuru-sama. Esdeath was killing snakes with her sword. She was starting to get sick of the sight of them. Normally she is more than fond of different varieties of snakes for certain reasons. And yet right now, the very sight and sound they make pisses her off. This is getting annoying, she said as she fired ice on the ground, piercing the snakes in front of her. Esdeath-sama, an old man with white hair tied in a ponytail, landed beside her. He was once a human but was now a demon chevalier serving under Esdeath. What is it, liver? Esdeath continues to slash and kill the snakes as she listens to her subordinate's report. Reinforcement has arrived. I suggest we move on to the next. Liver bowed as at the moment he said those words, a gate was opened, unleashing more than 1,000 battled-ready warriors. Whoa, snakes. Nice, let's enjoy this fight, boys. It's fine to kill those that were infected, right? Several more loud comments and crazy laughter were heard as they mowed through. Esdeath nodded her head. They should be able to take care of this much threat. Then she went to another universe, much like the last one. This one had snakes and humanoid snakes biting and spreading their kind. With her most elite in the Jaeger regiment, 1,000-strong army of former humans turned greater demons by Ultima. Let's get to work. She tightened her grip on her sword. For the Silver God. Silver God. Raising the morale of the army, she charged head first to the den of snakes of different shapes and sizes. They started to kill the snakes on each planet, taking nothing more than 3 minutes on each one. How did they do that? Bomb planted. A young man with blonde hair announced to everyone. He was another demon chevalier who served under Esdeath. With those words as a sign, every one of them flew toward space. As they had all become demons, they did not require air. From the bomb planted, poison gas was spreading globally. The snakes started to scream and bleed from their eyes, wanting to kill themselves. The residents. What residents? They've all turned into monsters. Ah, it burns. Help, I'm still normal. Anyway, Esdeath and the others were going world to world to eliminate the snakes as efficiently as possible. Then a portal opened, a large one. A large serpent, with its head the size of a city capital and its length as long as hundreds of kilometers. Liver. Esdeath stared at the large snake slowly passing through the portal. Call Ultima-sama. Liver nodded and quickly ran to report. The Jaegers were frightened by the sheer size of the enemy finally finishing passing through. But, They did not dare to leave, as Esdeath had their lives in her hands. The moment that they even tried to take a step back, they would be brought to her garden as one of her toys for her plants and pets. No need to panic, all we need to do is distract it until Ultima-sama arrives. Esdeath orders everyone to take their position. She brought the ones that were most likely to survive together to act as bait and distraction for the snake, while the rest spread out to continue eliminating the snakes that were still spreading out. It'll be pointless to bring the weak ones in this fight. Esdeath looked at the 100-strong army she was left with after pushing the rest away. 10 of them are demon chevaliers and the rest are greater demons that are the best and fastest of all of the Jaegers. Now, move in groups of 10. Esdeath going alone orders her group. Each group has one demon chevalier to lead the rest and surrounds the large serpent. One of the group fires of magic and abilities of their imperial arms. The attack barely gave any damage to the long beast in front of them, it did garner its attention. The only real thing they needed to do was buy time while their Cardinal of the West arrived. As the serpent turns, another group fires behind it while the first group flees the scene. The pattern repeats itself for several minutes as they play a game of cat and mouse. Looks like it isn't that smart. Esdeath, who was observing the scene before her. As the groups continued their attacks, the serpent was starting to get angry from their antics. The irritation it had was enough for its expression to show visible changes. Everyone retreat, Esdeath warns as she senses danger incoming. The mouth of the serpent showed sparks and burst as it shot fire at all directions. It wasn't aiming for just one of the groups but all of them. Adding to the fact that the flames reached several hundreds of kilometers in length means that escape would be hard. And the results showed, at least 30 of the best of the Jaegers were defeated from one blast of its breath. Esdeath-sama, one of the group shouted in relief. Their general had just been in time for her to redirect the attack to just barely let them survive. They then flew farther away to escape another blast from the giant snake creature. Esdeath, however, did not leave. She was staring at the creature's eyes dead center. She activated her magic and fired several large ice attacks that were aimed at the serpent's face. The serpent simply opened its mouth to the fire of another breath attack. The flames melted the ice that were coming towards it and continued forward towards Esdeath. Are you trying to get yourself killed, S-chan? Ultima blocked the breath as she moved in front of the blue-haired woman. You're not allowed to die like that. Ultima fired off one nuclear cannon directly at the still confused serpent as its attack was blocked. The attack managed to reach the large eyes of the monster. It roared, no, it screamed in pain. Comparing the small bits of pain, it felt not even comparable to an ant's bite. Suddenly getting shot in the eyes would be a large contrast in the spectrum of pain. Ha, it's just a mindless one. Ultima smiled, she would enjoy this fight. She can use this monster to relieve some of the stress she felt from the invasion. The monster screamed and thrashed around in space, trying to somehow in some way make the pain lessen. It fired flames from its mouth just for the off chance it would kill the assailant. Far from the fight, a bulky man with red hair was watching with a mixture of annoyance and anger. He had a human-like appearance aside from the obvious snake eyes and the scales on his arms and legs. How dare they? He gritted his teeth. He was angry at seeing his brother getting toyed with by someone weaker than him. How dare they? He burst in speed towards them. Ultima was happy to have a durable plaything, however being too durable is also bad. The reason she had the upper hand in the fight was because the enemy was mindless. She mostly attacks the serpent's eyes and other areas with weaker defense to damage the beast. But that does not mean the enemy wasn't scared of her. Several animals are scared of smaller animals. Human, for example, are stronger than dogs or insects, and yet some develop fear towards them. A person who rarely gets hurt, once they experience pain, will naturally begin to fear the origin of said pain. Besides, Ultima had a plan in mind for the large snake that breathes flames. Get away from him, shouted the red-haired man with a mace in hand. Someone blocked his way towards Ultima. Can't let you do that. Esdeath blocked his mace with her sword. Just from that blow, she knew she was weaker than him by several levels, at least in terms of raw strength. Move, weakling. He readied his mace and swung it towards her again. This time she dodged and went behind him. She fired several ice spears toward his back. He turned and destroyed all of them with one swing of his mace. Then he found himself surrounded by 7 others. They were the demon chevaliers of the group. Even weaker compared to Esdeath, and yet this will have to do for the time being. Just like last time, Esdeath's plan was the same as the snake earlier. All they need is to buy time for their Cardinal Ultima to finish her battle and kill the guy in front of them. Move. The red-haired rushed towards one of the demons and Esdeath fired towards him. Every time he tried to do something, she was sure to counter somehow. After a continuous battle with the man, their numbers dwindled to a mere 4 including Esdeath. You demons are something, to give me, and my brother Leviathan a hard time. The man shouted irritated, in terms of raw strength and magical after all he was superior. And yet, for some reason, he can't get a clean blow on Esdeath. Foo you lack experience, Esdeath simply stated as she readied her sword. Here's what I think about your words. The man rushed behind her and planned to bash her head. Before she could even react to the attack, someone had stopped it for her. Sounds of chains were heard, the man's hand that was raised for a swing with his mace was tied with a golden chain. Hitting a lady is not nice, you know. A child, no, a small man with messy hair and drowsy eyes stood behind them. He was maybe more than 3 feet tall, his body was bony as well. Who are you to interrupt me? The man was angry as he pulled the chains around his arm to pull the small man. Sorry about that, he released the chains from the other man's arm before he got pulled in. My name is, well just call me Stilts. What's yours? Stilts said as he scratched the back of his head. Veins could be seen from the man's forehead, his annoyance earlier can't even compare to what he feels now. Swinging his mace to his shoulder, Orochi of Flames, your executioner. Suddenly, unlike before, flames appeared covering Orochi's mace. His aura showed just how serious he was about seriously finishing them both. He rushes towards Stilts, and in return Stilts using his chained pendulum blocked the attack. Then the pendulum's tip pointed at Orochi, aiming to pierce him in the head. Orochi simply swung his mace and blocked the attack from him. Hey big sis. Stilts turned to Esdeath. I can't beat him. Do you have a plan? Quote. Esdeath didn't trust the newcomer, as he just appeared out of nowhere suddenly helping them. I do, however I won't tell you. Stilts had a look that wanted to complain, how troublesome. He took something out of his pocket, a deck of cards. He took one out, and a person with a banjo was drawn in it. The minstrel, let your intentions be known. The card disappeared after Stilts said those words. Then he hears a voice in his mind, a sound of a female voice. Buying time until Ultima Sama finishes off the big snake and finishes this one as well. He nodded his head and gave Esdeath a thumbs up. I'll help, just tell me what to do. Support me, we'll fight him. But he's strong, you know. Stilts said as he blocked a fire attack from Orochi by using the golden chains to act like a shield. We need to be careful. Esdeath rushed in with her sword. Don't worry, just act as bait and listen to my orders. She rushed to Orochi and continued their melee fight. Wah, so bossy. Stilts scratched his head, he grabbed all of his cards and threw them to space. Card standby. Revolve. All of his cards started to encircle his body into 5 circles. They all cover him diagonally and appear like a gyroscope. He grabbed 2 cards from the floating cards around him, he then ran towards the 2 fighting to support Esdeath. Wizard, Mystic Circle, Magic Boost. He aimed the spell towards Esdeath. Esdeath felt her magicals refill, not just that, they were increasing as well. She could feel like her proficiency with her magic has also gotten easier to handle than before. I pray to the Silver God. Esdeath uses her sword in one hand and firing of ice holy magic in the other. She was able to maintain her position as the vanguard of the 2. Holy ice bullets. Damn you, if I was in my true form. Orochi gritted his teeth, he stretched his right hand, and fired a flaming pillar towards Esdeath. Koryu, Divine Glacier. Using that attack as a barrier, she moved close enough to Orochi. Upside down serendipity. Dark prospects are on the horizon. The hands of fate, forces beyond your control intervene. Water emotions are at their peak. Stilts sighed as he invoked 3 more cards, slightly depressed in using these specific cards. Your turn big sis. Esdeath looked at Stilts and nodded, not questioning how he knew what was in her mind and her plan of attack. Ling, Kai. Esdeath used her unique skill, Sadistic One on Orochi. Orochi screamed in pain as he was hallucinating. He was bound in a metal bed, and his limbs were tied. Then, he felt his skin being peeled slowly. He saw a hand with a small knife in hand slowly take a piece of his skin. Then, hundreds of hands appeared out of nowhere, in their hand the very same knife. They surrounded his body and started doing their job, taking off the topmost part of his skin, a few inches long at a time before going to the next layer. Making sure to keep him alive for the entire thing. Using his aura, he forcefully released himself from the illusion. He was breathing hard as his eyes wandered and he touched his skin still intact. What the hell is happening? Why am I so weak? He tried to swing his mace towards Esdeath, but the chains of stilts caught his arm again. Truly a mystery, Stilts said as he held another card. Fire, reckless action leads to conflict. Stilts pointed it toward Orochi and the card disappeared. The knight triumph over adversity. He then pointed this one to Esdeath. That's some powerful magic, Esdeath commented as she slashed at Orochi. A shallow wound appeared on his chest. He clicked his tongue and escaped from the chains. You too, you too, you too. His body burst into flames, the flames flaunted for kilometers. He let go of his mace, opened his mouth, and fired a fire breath at the two. The two flew and dodged the attack, occasionally blocking the attack. However, the attack never stopped. Ultima was enjoying the battle too much. She had been firing several nuclear cannons at the Leviathan, occasionally letting her poison seep through the wounds. The movement of Leviathan has been getting slower and slower. Hey, what's wrong? Ultima said as she fired a nuclear flame, burning apart a few kilometers of Leviathan's body. The roar of pain in Leviathan's voice echoed. It fired its breath and rushed for bites and to no avail. Then it turned to a certain direction. It saw its brother fighting and getting ganged by two people. Ah, oh, ooh. Leviathan, for the first time in its life, tried to speak. Something wrong there. Ultima injected more poison through Leviathan's right eye. Oh, oh. Leviathan wriggled around angrily, ignoring the pain and poison coursing through its body. It attempted to take a smaller form. Then, the giant snake of hundreds of kilometers disappeared. A 10-foot-tall humanoid snake took its place. Oh, Ultima looked at the humanoid snake with a smirk. Wanna play hand-to-hand? Leviathan rushed in and gave a punch to Ultima. She sensed the danger coming from the attack and blocked it. She flew flying far, her arm bruised. He looks like you're finally learning to use your strength. Ultima returned and fired several magics. He simply dodged and directly flew towards her. Its sharp claws on both hands slash on her and she blocks it with a barrier. The barrier eventually broke and Ultima had to dodge the attack. Even then, her shoulder had a deep wound. Ultima was having fun. It wouldn't be surprising if the others would say the same in her position. Magic attack is too slow. Then how about this? Ultima materialized her new weapon. A whip made of orichalcum had spikes all over it and the handle in the shape of a snake. She attacked with her whip. Like before, Leviathan simply dodged and was coming towards her for another attack. Then it turned, sensing danger. The whip was coming from behind. Oh, it was confusing. How did the whip attack from behind? It grabbed the whip instead of dodging it this time. Oh, its hand burned, turning purple. How'd you like that? Whoa. Ultima was pulled by Leviathan using the whip and was throwing her around. Guess you want more. Ultima continues to supply the whip with more toxins. Leviathan ignored the pain and pulled Ultima near it. They eventually got closer and Ultima received hundreds of punches and slashes from it. Her eyes turned white for a moment from the damage that she received. She was covered in wounds, her arms barely functional and her face smeared in her blood. She smiled. This is going to be troublesome. She knew she needed more power. Something better than just what she had at the moment, something that will give her the boost she needs. Rimuru-sama, Ultima prayed to her lord. The primordials never borrowed magicals and energy from their lord. They did not want to become too dependent on him after all, yet even more than that. They do not dare to fail him in their job. I don't care anymore, just more power. Evolution to Demon Lord confirmed. Harvest Festival will now begin. Suddenly her body was glowing and her strength increased. She had a smile on her face. She realized that with this Rimuru would find her much more useful. She recalled when she was given her lord's skill. Ultima, you can have a copy of my depravity skill. You are the most compatible with this skill after all. I have something much better for myself. Really Rimuru-sama? Individual's unique skill. Contaminator combined with depravity to evolve into ultimate skill. King of Corruption Sabnok, successful. This is the end for you. Ultima dematerialized her whip, then showed her wings. 6 bat-like wings showed on her back, with the tip of each end dripping purple liquid. Oh, Leviathan rushed in for a large bite, planning to swallow her whole. Ultima, in sync with it, rams into Leviathan, biting of her left arm. Leviathan felt pain in its body, then it noticed Ultima's wings were all piercing its body. Demon cocktail, from her wings, she pumped Leviathan full of poison. Ochi. It began to turn purple and slowly melt from the inside. With that, Ultima won the fight. Orochi was angry at what he saw. His brother was just killed by a demon. Not only that, the demon seems to be stronger than before as well. Be grateful you lot, I'll let you live for now, he said towards the half-dead Esdeath and the wounded Stilts who just about reached their limit as well. Thank you, Stilts answered half-jokingly, as he really thought he was going to die. Tisk, Orochi left knowing he would not stand a chance against Ultima. To be continued.